Hey everybody, I'm Dune. This is another episode of Factorio Megabase. Last couple episodes, we redid the circuits in the two main iron smelting facilities, or circuits stations, the circuits for the stations, such that only the station that wants a train to show up will be enabled. We accomplished that by uh, a few things. We we toggle various aspects of the station off of various aspects. One, we're totaling up all the stations. So there's 8 stations currently in this iron build, and each station is taking the total of product in chests ready to be put in the requester chests and the value that's in the requester chests themselves, and then output that with a number, and each station has their own number. So, and then we add all those numbers together. Total them up, make them T, add each output T, 1.9 million we're seeing. Then we divide that by the number of stations, 8, and output that as the average in the green wire. That way, because we are totaling everything on the red wire, and so all our control switches must be in green. All our stations in red, all our controls in green. It makes it easier, especially to total them up. I used to kind of do like 1 plus 2 equaled A, 3 plus 4 equaled B, etc., etc. But if you just put them all the things you want to total on their own circuit wire, then you can just do each. I can't run over there, but I can lay out an example. We can set a few. 1 equals 5. 2 equals 10. And 3 equals 15. Then we can, using an arithmetic combinator, we can take those values, put them through the arithmetic, and do each plus 0, because we're not padding any of the numbers. If we wanted to pad each number by 10, well, then we could add 10. If we wanted to multiply every value by 10, then we'd multiply every value by 10. And then we'd out that as total. So that would be 315 times 10 is 150. 100 times 10 is 100. And 5 times 10 is 50. That's a total of 300. So that's how that works. And then we divide that T by the number on N. We make it a constant combinator. That way, if we wanted to change outposts or add new ones, we could just simply change that number instead of having to go everywhere N is used. It's like used here and here. Well, it's used to lots of places. So we have N on the green wire, and we can just use it whenever we want. And if we add or subtract outposts from the outpost, kind of sounds funny, like each one of these is an outpost, but this greater thing is the iron outpost. So we keep N as a separate value, and so we can take the total and divide by N, and we have our average sum, and then we control our stations by that average. So back to our example, we take the station, and if it's, in this case, this is a drop-off station of 5, which is the station number, which is set right here, since we're totaling up the value in these chests, 225,000. So the input is 225,000, or in fuel, but we only want it to output plate, so we only output the plate. And then we put that into the each. We sum that with the value of each chest, and then we output that one value as 5. So we are seeing if, in this case, if 5 is less than A, less than or equal to, actually, output an E. And in this case, 5 is less than the average, so it is outputting E. We also do if the number of ore trains, in this case 13, is greater than N, which is our number of stations, greater than or equal to, then we also output E, enabling the station because there's enough ore trains there. We're also doing this. If a train is parked here, we disable the station. We take the train signal, the train number, in this case 4.9 million something, 4.973454, multiply it times -1, and output that as E. And that's just going to be far more negative than our single 1, 2, 3 possible. And it disables the station because the station's only enabled when E is greater than 0. So, and then also, we are also taking T, and if it is greater than 0, we output, instead of E, we output an iron ore to say that there is a train, iron ore train here. Because we not only add up the trains in the stacker, but also the trains unloading. To consider if there's enough trains to fit in every station. So that's how we do that. This episode, I don't have any specific plans other than to continue to look around to see what can be improved. You know, this is our steel build. We built this a few days ago, or we upgraded. It used to be a 2x3. We put in 2 more stations. And then we added some iron stations. I think one of the things I guess I want to do is I want to get these train stations to work like we just did in the iron stations, because I literally can't tell at this which station is actually wanting a train to pick up its steel. We just can't tell by looking at it if that's the case. So we can with these other ones, because I changed these to work in the same manner to the ones we just did at iron. In fact, I did these ones first this way, so that, you know, the station only enabled if there was material ready to be picked up. So let's actually travel to steel and upgrade those. And while we're traveling, we can look around to see if there's anything that looks obvious. You know, what's funny is when I rewatch my videos that I'll see something that I don't notice now, and I'll be like, oh, why didn't I see that then? You know, it's like maybe there might have been a traffic jam, say here, and I don't see it because I'm looking over here, and then, but I'll catch it when I rewatch the video because, maybe 30 minutes down, I'll notice it later. And could have been fixed then, but so hey Gold, welcome. Nice to see you again. We are slowly traveling up here. Instead of having another steel mill in the south, I decided I'd build this guy here so that the trains wanting steel could flow easily to it. It's something you have to balance kind of manually if they're not all one big outpost. So our personal train station is this guy right here. One of the things we're going to need to do is create a dummy steel load station, because in our design, we need the ability for the steel train, all of the outposts or all the stations, steel load stations, to be disabled, and for the trains waiting for steel not to care about that. And for that to happen, they still need a steel load station that they think they can get to, but it will actually be permanently disabled. So we either got to put it here. I like to put it near the end of where they can route to, so that they have a better chance of access, because they tend to want to go to the closest station, and if that station is closer, the dummy one is closer to their actual pickup stations, then they'll always ping it. Sweet gold. I don't have those kind of hard limits. I just play until, back in the day, like, I'd always want to start over, but not anymore. I just kind of want to play this one all the time. So anyways, I'm going to pick where we're going. This is probably the easiest spot where the station can sit on the right hand side. So like running across several football fields trying to get to it. Well, yeah, I mean, every time you learn something, you can, and then also realize that you could have done it better, but you didn't allow yourself enough space, or etc. for, say, how should I say, just whatever, for buses or trains or whatever. Like, maybe you initially do all single track, and you realize, wow, double track would have been better, but you didn't leave yourself room because you were to put a single line all the way through everything, and it was like a big long spaghetti chain. And I've done that. I've seen it. Yeah, it's tough when you're first building in Factorio, to realize that a single belt just isn't going to cut it. Alright, so that's that guy. We need to copy this one and paste it. So now there's this dummy station, steel load station, and if these are all disabled, that one will still be enabled. But because this signal is always going to be constantly set to red with the constant combinator, no train can actually get to it. So what we need to check out, shoot, I didn't want to do that. I actually want to just delete this blueprint, is let's start with unloading station signals. Let's just see if this unloading, am I starting with unloading? Okay, I want to start with loading, but that's alright. It's not that hard. Just pick up the wrong blueprint. Loading station. Let's just see how this kind of matches up, or it doesn't match up. On where power lines are and so forth. looks like nothing matches. Actually, those the power lines between the roboports, this power pole match. So that's most. And actually this power line pole works too. So it looks like we're good there. So we can just begin. This is station 8. This is our one that totals values. All the rest of these are control signals. No, I am not using Factorio to stream. I'm just playing the game with Factorio. We need to go down here and delete. It's already done. We can set this to 8. How many lights do we got? 45, we're good. So this station was enabled. Not sure if it had enough supply. Do we even have M set? We do. What do we got set for chess? 335. That's good. That should be 334, but I'm not going to change that. I just rounded up to 335 when I initially set it. And could be like 17K instead of 20, but 20 works. It's just you have 4 extra K on hand before the train can actually show up. So I'm using the software called Streamlabs OBS to stream with. There is OBS, which is a open source, and Streamlabs made a lot of plugins for OBS before creating their own version based on the Streamlabs OBS. Factorio does have something called a replay. Like when you set up your map, there's a replay option. I don't know what that does. I've never done it. So technically I don't know if it can record itself. So anyways, my lights aren't working because, funny, it's actually got a yellow color, which is weird. It's based on black. I don't know, but I don't have the color option set yet. But now we can see that this station is disabled because it's not ready. 8 is less than average, and actually 3K. This is just showing the light. We don't really care about that, other than it's fancy. I wish I'd left more room for me to walk on this track, or walk between the track and these outposts, but did I erase that one cable? No, it's not connected to that pole. Okay. Station 7. And now we're setting those lights, but we're not actually going to use, I mean, until I get constant combinator set for lights, it's not going to work. And that's probably at station 1 where the master controls are. Did you have a satellite in it when you launched the rocket? Because that's the requirement. You can launch a rocket without a satellite. Set. This is station 5, and actually here is the master controls and the combinator. And I need to set that on green for the colors, which I might be able to grab here. Yes. And we'll delete M off of there, and M is now 17K. Okay, I was just curious. You also might try, instead of launching a satellite, launch some fish. There's an achievement for that. It's a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy joke. Station 1. Alright. So these still aren't showing the right color. Oh, I know why. Think about this, but they're not totally plate. But we are sending red, green, and yellow through this. That's what's confusing our lights. Alright, we shall see you. Thanks for stopping in. So one of the things I just realized we're putting this in is that we're using this to set iron, and we actually want to be setting this as steel. So I can't copy and paste that everywhere, but I can do that with a blueprint. So wherever we did this, just change that to a steel. We're not actually totaling that, but it's now available. Did I not set lights up there? I don't even use grenades hardly anymore. I can't remember the last. I mean, it's probably been weeks since I used a grenade. So what we gotta do is we gotta fix the incoming wire signal. So where we total up the value in the stacker, we need to change it from red, green, blue, or red, green, yellow actually, right here. To plate. So all we do is we take that value and we just want the red values. So we'll take all the reds, add 0, because we're not padding it, and output it as iron plate. And then we'll add that iron plate value to here. For some reason we still have greens being totaled. Where from? So I have red and green on the green wire. Probably because I haven't finished switching these over, and these are all adding these in. Okay, so that's fine. We'll switch those. We could do so let's move this wires. Those wires. We're going to do it to steel. So there's 6 trains sitting here, and there's 6 being put output. Now is 7. So that's better. It's a little more understandable instead of just sending colors. It's the same thing, but to be consistent across my base, it's easier to put the type that's in the stacker. And we will fix those in a minute. So these lights will continue to be wrong because we're still sending green and red values from these other trains, and they're confusing our lights. Station 3 and one more after this. For the pickup trains anyways. And a train coming in, I'll just weave through the buildings. I can get through them. Station 4. Okay, so now we only have the stations enabled where there's supplies. So 5 and 6, and 5 and 6 are correct. So the next trains that show up should, the next one would be 5. If one showed up at the same time, 6. It depends on the quantity. 5 and 6. Neither of them actually has enough to supply 2 trains, but okay, so our drop-off stations are confused by the signals we've currently set. We need to delete this one and get our unload station ready to go. Oh shoot, we need to actually first fix this little problem with saying it's a steel plate train in there, or I mean a iron plate train in there instead of steel plate. Okay. So the reason we don't have any steel plates in the green is because there's no train either picking up or in the stacker. Right. Whoops. Mode. Right, so we're gonna start station 4 here. Let's just unload. Let's verify that the wires and everything are right. Seems like they are. Everything's, you know, it turns blue when it's green when it's a new placement, blue when it's over an existing matching. So everything looks good. We just need to start replacing these. Now if this has a train on the way, I will gladly let it show up before I remove signals. So our blueprint we're putting down is a little long. Let's move a couple of pieces of track. And change that to a 4. And then we're not outputting, we're not doing ore, we're doing iron. Plate. Maybe we will, let's copy this so we don't have to keep changing all those things. Right, so we don't want these track, we don't want the substations, we don't need chests or inserters. Or roboports. Everything else seems good. we'll put this on our hotbar and then double check that. Okay. So I only got the green wire going to it. I guess that's all we use, the green wire. And then E is from here, which is passed down from way over from the other side. Okay. It's okay, I'm gonna run me over. Nope. A piece of wood sitting there. Yes. What did I want to verify? Something. What was I looking at over here? I was like, so let's verify the station controls were right here. And this is station 3. So now we only have to change one thing. So whether 3 fits the qualifier, which it does. It seems like I can run across. Where's that train at? Seems like I can run across there too without being run over. Okay. Just watching those lights. As long as they're not yellow, we're safe. Yeah, we're out of decider combos. 4, 5. Yellow light. Alright, so we're now just working our way the other way. Still doing unloading stations. Station 5. Getting closer to our numbers being right, but not yet. Station 6. Station 7. Okay, they should all be working now, including lights. So that's red. This is green. So that was red, and this is green. That's correct. These should both be red. Yes. They should both be green, and they're not. One's green. One's green, but not the other one. Where's your green? Is that your number right? 6, 6, 6. Let's see, this is set to green or green equal to 0. And they should be set the same. This is greater than 0. What about greater than equal to 0? That's still right. Red. That should be green. Station 6. Why aren't you green? I'm gonna need to fix. I set you to. No, that didn't do it. Actually, greater than 0 is the right thing. It's not the light that's wrong. It's the controls to the light. So this outputs, if E is less than 0, output of black. Hey, Kotanuki. How you doing? Something's off here. let's disable ease. Enabled if e is greater than or equal to 0. I should be looking at the 6. I broke something somehow. Six should be enabled. It is enabled. Six is enabled. It's not outputting a value. Enable, disable, e is greater than or equal to 0. That's outputting a 1. That's outputting a 1. And then that's subtracting 2, so yeah. That should be less than 0. Are all my lights wrong? Because I just set this same signal situation up in lots of places. Is this one red as well? Because 0 is valid. We only want negative to be red. Yep. That's that wrong in my iron stations too. That's green. That's green. That's red. Yep. Well, this is relatively easy to fix. We just need to blueprint that and slap it down everywhere. Fortunately, I really goofed this in a lot of places. These ones are right. For some reason I did these ones right. But the difference is they're different stations. I use the same lights in both, and I just didn't think these out well enough. Pretty sure I set these already, but we're going to do it again. Okay, so I set lights in these guys. I didn't do copper, but I did do, so like, it's disabled, so it should stay disabled. One's enabled, and it does show enabled. It's enabled but shows disabled. And now it's enabled. It's enabled, shows disabled. And now it's enabled. Fortunately, this is so easy to fix. I don't have to travel everywhere to do it. But so that's enabled, yes. Just verifying. Doing it right. Like this one's enabled. This might be okay. I think that's all where I've set up these new lights, because I created those blueprints when I did these. So I have to fix, I guess I have to fix blueprint. What is that? The loading blueprint. Fortunately, you can't just edit a blueprint. You can't just go in here and change a value. That would be really sweet if you could. There are blueprint mods. I've just never played with one that allow you to change some things on a blueprint. So copy this. Delete it. New blueprint. Continue to copy from original. And then we'll just go through, remove things we don't want. Alright, we will start that over because I kind of got confused on which one I was doing. Alright, substations, no signals, no chess, no roboports, and no curved track. So we'll rename that station signals. Station signal. And there's a light attached. Okay. So hopefully that blueprint's now fixed for any further use. So now at a glance we can see, we should see, these two are enabled. Lights are green. For some reason these trains aren't going to them. Why did I goof up? that's a problem. Is there any other ones? I mean, it should be flowing to this guy. I guess that one signal was making all this track one way. It still exists. Wait, where am I? I'm in the wrong place. I have another one right there. Didn't do that anywhere else, did I? I mean, I wasn't using a blueprint to do that. Oh, but I might have been using. I don't know. So they continued to try to go to the ones that were greater than average. So 5 and 6 stayed greater than average. And so these other ones never got enabled, even though they do have supply. So they're trying to go this way, but as soon as that guy gets disabled, one of them should start coming to 4 or 7 or even 5, I suppose. For some reason I have 0 ore trains down here. Is that because these guys are all waiting? Alright, I've got a rail signal or something in the wrong place. The entrance over here, there's a rail signal. This should be... Oh, I see what's happening. These trains come across. And then get stuck. I don't like to put entrances so close to the around about anymore, but this existed for quite some time. Because I had like 1,000 wood in it. Well, that emptied out. So all these are being controlled by the number of iron plate trains. So that's showing 12, right? So all these are enabled if they don't have a train in them. Silly kids outside laughing and stuff. And I think we're done at this station. Oops. So I like this. So you can see at a glance what stations are wanting trains. It's so much easier. And kind of at a glance, you can also see how well the supply is. I mean, if there's a number of stations that are enabled for a train to go in and pick up, then you know you're doing pretty good. But if they're all red, then you know you've got a supply problem. So we can kind of look over here at the same thing, like all our unload stations are red, or were a second ago. We got a couple trains leaving. That means we had enough ore trains coming in to actually load in every station. kind of see that, of course, when we look in. 255,000 average. It's a good quantity to have on hand. Kind of look at our new outpost. How's it doing? We got 2 train stations enabled for pickup, so we're doing good. 300 or 220 some thousand on hand. And only the stations that actually have a train are sitting there disabled. The way I'm running this station is this outpost. If it's got enough, it just enables itself. It's not based on average. It's kind of a new paradigm thought, because basically, I think I have an example of that in our rocket control unit station. This is pretty much not running a whole lot. Station 1's got 38,000, where Station 2's doing most of the work, 5,000. And if trains continue to hit Station 2, Station 1 would just become disabled, per se. I mean, it would be enabled. It's just without trains stopping there, the whole facility wouldn't work, consuming less power. Beacons, of course, consume power whether they're being used or not. So we pulled up a lot of signals. I don't think we pulled up track, but we do have a lot on hand. So I think I'm going to cut this episode right here. Don't really have any specific tasks to really try to accomplish. Just kind of watching supply and so forth, and then working on control signals while we kind of wait for some of that. Well, this is kind of concerning, but we don't have a whole lot of trains waiting, so not sure of the situation here.